A lioness on the loose has sparked a major police operation in Berlin. Residents in the German capital were told to stay indoors while authorities tried to track the big cat.
Pinellas County, where witnesses found this almost 14-foot gator with a body in its mouth this afternoon.
Criminals are getting smarter, and sometimes their ambitions can be so lofty that they baffle even those who've committed their entire lives to fighting crime. So who's to blame? Crime drama television, the internet, or sheer desperation? Whatever it is that drives criminals to extreme lengths, the police force is always one step ahead of them, and thankfully so. This means that we can all sleep well at night, knowing that the thin blue line is protecting us. But there's no harm in checking out what some of these new, smart crooks have been up to. For instance, the police found a tunnel under this house that led them to a ridiculous surprise. Well, there's a lot to uncover, so let's get started. Number 20. Guns, guns, guns. In a tense and unexpected sequence of events, Farouk Mamedov, the owner of Rev Auto Sales, unwittingly played a crucial role in averting what could have been a devastating incident. Around midnight, while checking his security cameras, Mamedov noticed a figure moving suspiciously around his business. The man, later identified as Wesley Charles Martinez, was peering into cars and inspecting storage sheds. Alarmed by Martinez's behavior, Mamedov immediately contacted the Campbell police. When officers arrived on the scene, what seemed like a potential case of theft quickly spiraled into something far more ominous. As they inspected Martinez's truck, they discovered a concerning array of firearms, ammunition, and troubling messages inscribed on his gear. One of them read, "To a widow from the Grim Reaper." However, this was only the beginning of the grim discoveries awaiting the police. Alongside the firearms, officers unearthed a pipe bomb, packed densely with pellets to maximize harm. Even more concerning was a journal officers found among Martinez's belongings, filled with racist and anti-Semitic writings. Within its pages, authorities uncovered a chilling outline detailing Martinez's plans to infiltrate a local sporting goods store disguised as an employee. The plan went further, specifying a horrific strategy to take hostages. The police also found a stash of controlled substances in Martinez's possession, further complicating an already precarious situation. District Attorney Jeff Rosen publicly praised the swift response of the Campbell police, highlighting that their quick actions likely prevented what could have escalated into a mass casualty event. Well, a lot of people dodged a bullet with that one. If you thought this was surprising, just stick around. We're only getting started. Number 19. An 8-foot alligator. In the sunny state of Florida, where sprawling swamps and residential areas often coexist, encounters with wildlife, particularly alligators, are not uncommon. These formidable reptiles can occasionally wander into neighborhoods, prompting local authorities to intervene for public safety. Such was the case in Ocoee, Florida, when police and wildlife trappers were called to handle an 8-foot alligator that had made itself comfortable in a populated area. The team arrived with a clear plan: safely capture the alligator and relocate it to a less populated environment, away from human activity. As they approached the creature, they used standard procedures to ensure the safety of both the alligator and themselves. They expertly taped its mouth shut, covered its eyes to calm it, and bound its legs. Everything seemed to be going according to plan, but the unexpected soon happened. Once the team managed to hoist the alligator onto the truck, the situation took a dramatic turn. The alligator reared its massive head back and delivered a powerful headbutt to one of the trappers. The impact sent the trapper's sunglasses flying and knocked him to the ground, momentarily stunning him. It was a chaotic scene, and for a few heart-stopping seconds, it appeared as though he might have been knocked out cold. Luckily, it was only a headbutt and not a bite. Number 18. Several cannabis farms uncovered. Police in the UK unearthed 14 farms involved in the production of cannabis, a substance that, while legal in certain parts of the US, is strictly prohibited in the UK. This significant operation came to light in 2020 when Humberside police raided what they believed to be the largest illegal cannabis factory in northern Lincolnshire, a facility valued at around £4 million. During the raid, Authorities discovered not only an astonishing 15,000 cannabis plants, but also 3 Vietnamese nationals who had been kept as modern-day slaves, locked away and forced to work under deplorable conditions. These individuals had been lured from London with false promises of legitimate employment, only to find themselves trapped. The conditions they endured were nothing short of horrific. They had been compelled to labor tirelessly for at least 2 months, surviving on little more than rice and water and facing violent repercussions if they dared to refuse work. The captors, known as gangmasters, had taken extreme measures to prevent escape, even screwing shut the doors of the facility. Initially, the men were arrested and charged with cannabis production. However, as the investigation unfolded, it became clear that they were victims, not perpetrators. They had received no payment for their work and faced beatings if they disobeyed orders. This revelation turned the narrative from one of criminality to one of exploitation. Number 17. Countless rare tortoises. In the coastal town of Toliara, Madagascar, an unsettling odor emanating from an abandoned house prompted concerned neighbors to take action. As the smell worsened and strange figures began visiting the property under the cover of darkness, they felt compelled to alert the authorities. When the police arrived, they brought along a team comprising a wildlife expert, a medical examiner, and a biologist, recognizing the potential severity of the situation. Upon entering the premises, they discovered men digging into the floor, clearly startled by the sudden intrusion. The officers quickly realized the gravity of the situation. The house was not merely abandoned, it served as a makeshift prison for approximately 10,000 critically endangered radiated tortoises. These rare tortoises, known for their striking shell patterns and slow-moving demeanor, were found packed tightly in various rooms, living in conditions that defied any sense of compassion or care. The discovery was horrifying. At least 180 of the tortoises had already succumbed to neglect, with many more suffering from malnutrition and dehydration. In response to the crisis, authorities quickly mobilized to transport the surviving tortoises to a private wildlife rehabilitation center, where they could receive the necessary medical attention and care. However, in the end, only about 8,000 managed to survive the ordeal. The rescued tortoises were carefully monitored and rehabilitated, but unfortunately, many were too compromised to return to their natural habitat. For those that survived, a new chapter awaited them. Experts in wildlife conservation stepped in to ensure that these remarkable creatures could live in environments where they would have access to ample food, fresh water, and the space needed to thrive. The tortoises were distributed among various facilities, where dedicated teams could provide them with the care and attention they desperately needed. Well, that was a happy ending. But this next one is going to take you down the nostalgia road of horror. Number 16. Real-life Chucky doll. In 2023, Mexican police in Monclova, Coahuila, faced a sight that left onlookers bewildered and amused. A life-size Chucky doll, notorious for its role as a murderous toy in the 1988 classic Child's Play, caught terrorizing the neighborhood. Even more bizarre was the doll's partner in crime, a man named Carlos N., who had taken it upon himself to use Chucky as a weapon of intimidation, brandishing a large knife and demanding money from unsuspecting passers-by. With the doll's garish orange hair, eerie grin, and Carlos's aggressive posturing, the scene evoked a nightmarish moment that many reported to the police. When the police arrived, they found Carlos and his unsettling sidekick stationed on a public street. The officers arrested Carlos and seized the Chucky doll, but not before a twist of dark humor added to the bizarre tale. Following protocol for evidence documentation, officers decided to take the doll's mugshot alongside its owner. Hoisting the doll by its red mop of hair, the police took a photo that captured every chilling detail of Chucky's expression. The mugshot sparked an unexpected reaction from the public. Many felt the entire arrest seemed like a strange satire of police work, given the doll's menacing yet harmless reputation as a prop from a horror film. Nonetheless, officers took the situation seriously, understanding that Carlos had indeed used Chucky to frighten and extort people in the area. After being held for a short time, Carlos was eventually released. No one knows what happened to the doll. Number 15. Buckets of money. In a stunning turn of events, 44-year-old Luis Hernandez Gonzalez found himself at the center of a significant police operation when authorities suspected him of being involved in trafficking activities. Without hesitation, law enforcement swiftly moved in, taking him into custody not only on firearm charges, but also for his alleged role in criminal enterprises. Alongside him was his 32-year-old sister, Selma Hernandez. Upon searching Luis's home, police discovered a hidden attic that held a stash of several large Home Depot buckets, each overflowing with cash. As it turned out, these buckets contained an astonishing $24 million in cash, marking it as the largest money seizure in the history of the Miami-Dade Police Department. The discovery of such an immense amount of money prompted prosecutors to seek an elevated bond for Luis, citing the significant risk associated with his financial resources. The judge agreed and specifically requested that Luis not attempt to pay his bail using the Home Depot buckets. Further investigations into Luis's activities revealed that, in addition to his suspected trafficking operations, he was also running an indoor gardening business known as the Blossoms Experience. This enterprise was allegedly a front that allowed him to interact with customers seeking guidance on how to cultivate their own plants and flowers. When confronted about his business, Luis admitted to assisting clients in growing their crops. However, the full extent of his operations remains unclear. Shocked, right? Well, this next one will be one long walk down memory lane. Number 14. The Avengers. On Halloween night in 2022, Lima, Peru's bustling capital city, was alive with the spirit of celebration. Children paraded the streets in costumes, eager to fill their bags with candy. But in a gritty, crime-ridden neighborhood, an entirely different kind of thrill was unfolding. A special team of Peruvian police officers suited up for a daring undercover operation dressed as iconic Marvel superheroes: Spider-Man, Captain America, Thor, and Black Widow. Their mission, dubbed Operation Marvel, was to tackle one of Lima's most entrenched drug rings. For years, criminals in this neighborhood had fortified their stronghold, making it a hub for illegal activities and intimidating law-abiding residents. The audacious plan of blending into Halloween festivities while preparing to take down a major crime syndicate was risky but effective. With their superhero costumes camouflaging their tactical gear, the officers reached their target and smashed through a reinforced steel door. They then entered the hideout in a dramatic surprise raid that caught the drug dealers completely off guard. Inside, they encountered 3 men and a woman, all of whom were quickly apprehended. But the real shock lay in the stash the officers uncovered. In what would become one of Peru's largest drug busts, the team found over 3,250 packages of cocaine paste, 287 bags of refined cocaine, and 127 packets of marijuana. Altogether, this astonishing haul weighed approximately 278 kilograms. This heroic effort by officers disguised as Avengers instantly captured the public's imagination, leading to their recognition as real-life superheroes. Not only did they rid the community of a dangerous criminal network, but they also reinvigorated a sense of safety and pride among residents. Number 13. Lioness on the Prowl. In July 2023, the tranquil town of Kleinmachnow, located just outside Berlin, found itself engulfed in chaos as an extraordinary and unsettling event unfolded. It all began when a local resident witnessed a large, predatory animal in hot pursuit of a wild boar through the streets. The alarming scene was so shocking that the witness quickly recorded the encounter, capturing footage that would soon ignite a frenzy of fear throughout the community. As the video circulated rapidly online, the town became gripped by panic. Naturally, there was an immediate and massive police response. Over 30 police patrol cars, helicopters, drones, and even infrared cameras were deployed in an extensive search for what was believed to be a lioness on the loose. The hunt focused on the dense forests surrounding Kleinmachnow, where the creature was thought to have taken refuge. In a coordinated effort, police and veterinarians worked tirelessly late into the night, combing through the woods in hopes of locating the elusive animal. The police also issued warnings across all available channels, advising residents to stay indoors and secure their pets. Complicating matters further, neither local zoos nor circuses had reported any missing lions or big cats. If this wild beast was indeed a lioness, the most likely scenario was that it had escaped from a private enclosure. However, the mystery of its escape route remained unsolved. Interestingly, while keeping big cats is illegal in Berlin, such practices are permitted under strict regulations in the neighboring state of Brandenburg. As the day progressed and resources became stretched to their limits, doubts began to creep in regarding the original sighting. After conducting thorough investigations and gathering testimonies, some authorities proposed that the fearsome beast may not have been a lioness at all, but rather a wild boar, the very creature that had initially triggered the alarm. Eventually, the true identity of the creature remained an enigma. Number 12. Ghostface. On a crisp morning in Sonoma, California, residents awoke to an unsettling sight that seemed pulled straight from a horror movie. Near the corner of First Street East and East Napa Street, a solitary figure stood, draped in a black cloak and donning the iconic Ghostface mask from the Scream franchise. The character's hollow, gaping stare and twisted grin were enough to send chills through those who spotted him. Sonoma locals, rattled by the figure's foreboding appearance, began calling the police. Fearing the costumed character might signify something sinister, especially with recent headlines stoking fears around public safety, many assumed the worst. Police quickly responded to the flood of calls and hurried to the scene. However, as officers approached, they found the figure to be harmless. Well, as it so happens, he was part of a publicity stunt crafted to build suspense for the latest Scream film. The promotion, while imaginative, had clearly crossed into unnerving territory. Unlike typical promotional stunts, this Ghostface stunt involved the character haunting multiple areas around Sonoma, lurking in spots where residents wouldn't expect such an ominous figure. As sightings spread and social media amplified the mystery, panic escalated, causing a spike in emergency calls from genuinely concerned residents. This wasn't the first time the horror genre had dabbled in immersive publicity, but rarely did a stunt like this evoke such widespread concern. While the intention was to drum up excitement for the film by blending a bit of the thrill of horror into daily life, it instead exposed the fine line between suspenseful fun and genuine terror. Number 11. Under the Mattress. In a startling turn of events in Oklahoma City, law enforcement was alerted to the presence of Timothy Johnson, a man with an outstanding felony warrant from another state. The Oklahoma City Police Department received a credible tip-off indicating that Johnson had been seen entering a travel trailer. Acting swiftly, officers arrived at the scene. Upon gaining permission to search the trailer, officers began their investigation, methodically examining the small space for any signs of Johnson. It was a tense moment as they lifted the mattress, expecting to find the wanted man. To their shock, they discovered Johnson hiding underneath, his grip firmly around a pistol. The situation escalated rapidly when, without hesitation, Johnson opened fire on the three officers, forcing them to take cover and retreat in a hurry. Backup was summoned in the form of a tactical unit, who quickly arrived to assess the situation. Despite their efforts to establish communication with Johnson inside the trailer, their attempts went unanswered. As the situation became increasingly precarious, the tactical team made the decision to breach the trailer. Upon entering the trailer, the officers were met with a grim scene. Timothy Johnson had died during the ensuing gunfight. Amid the chaos, one officer suffered a minor injury when flying debris struck him in the face. Fortunately, he sustained only superficial wounds and was treated promptly. In accordance with standard procedure following a shooting incident, all three officers involved were placed on administrative leave while a thorough investigation was conducted. Number 10. Finally solved. The Foss Lake Mystery. In the quiet town of Sayre, Oklahoma, a routine sonar test at Foss Lake uncovered a chilling mystery that had baffled locals for decades. As law enforcement officials swept the lake with new sonar technology, their screens lit up with an unexpected and ghostly discovery from the depths: the unmistakable outlines of two vintage cars submerged and forgotten under the lake's murky waters. The first vehicle, a 1969 Chevrolet Camaro, held clues to a haunting mystery from the 1970s. Inside were the skeletal remains of 3 teenagers, Jimmy Allen Williams, Leah Gale Johnson, and Thomas Michael Rios. The 3 teens had disappeared without a trace after what was supposed to be a simple outing. In the back seat, investigators discovered 2 rusted rifles, hinting that they may indeed have been on a hunting trip before the tragedy occurred. The car's accidental plunge into the lake left these young lives abruptly cut short, while their families endured decades of unanswered questions. Nearby, investigators discovered the second vehicle, a 1952 Chevrolet. The remains inside belonged to John Alva Porter, Cleburne Hammock, and Nora Marie Duncan. Like the teenagers, these 3 individuals had disappeared in 1969. Their exact reasons for being in the lake remain unclear, but forensic experts concluded that this too was an accident. Following the grim discovery, DNA tests confirmed the identities of all 6 individuals, finally providing some semblance of closure for the grieving families. Number 9. 730 pieces of undergarments. In March 2021, a young college student, just 21 years old, experienced an unsettling theft that would lead to a shocking discovery. After visiting her local laundromat, she noticed that her undergarments had mysteriously vanished. Initially bewildered by the loss, she decided to report the incident to the police, hoping to recover her belongings. Upon receiving her report, the authorities initiated an investigation that quickly led them down a troubling path. As they gathered evidence and conducted interviews, the trail pointed to a 56-year-old man named Tetsuo Urata, who had been operating under the radar for some time. When the police searched Urata's home, they uncovered a staggering 730 pieces of women's underwear and clothing, meticulously collected from various laundromats in the area. Urata admitted to prowling local laundromats, preying on unsuspecting women who left their clothes unattended. His compulsive stealing was not just limited to undergarments, it included a range of women's clothing, reflecting a disturbing obsession that had escalated over the years. The case captured public attention, raising questions about safety and privacy in communal spaces like laundromats. Many women expressed their concern, sharing their own experiences of missing items and reinforcing the need for vigilance when using such facilities. As the investigation continued, authorities worked to return the stolen items to their rightful owners, though the emotional toll of the theft remained for many victims. Urata faced legal repercussions for his actions. His case ultimately underscored the importance of community awareness and the need for proactive measures to ensure public safety. Number 8. Ghost caught on camera. In 2014, Officer Carl Romero of the Espanola Police Department in New Mexico encountered an unexplainable phenomenon during what should have been a routine night shift. Sitting at his desk and observing the security monitors, Romero's evening began like any other, with the flickering screens showing the deserted backlot. But what appeared on one of the screens defied logic and left him, along with his colleagues, in shock. A shadowy figure seemed to drift across the lot, moving through solid barriers as if they were merely illusions. The figure passed straight through a chain-link fence and then, astonishingly, floated through solid transport cages without resistance. Carl initially chalked up the strange shadow to a possible insect near the camera lens, perhaps a moth or a stray fly causing an illusion. But as he looked closer, the form was undeniably human-shaped, moving in a steady, unnatural glide that was neither hurried nor hesitant. The figure's image was so clear that it ruled out simple technical glitches or lens issues. It behaved in a way no human could, bending the laws of physics as it effortlessly passed through solid barriers. It did all of this without setting off alarms or opening any of the secured gates. Upon reporting the incident, Officer Romero's story quickly circulated through the station. Detective Solomon Romero reviewed the footage himself, finding the anomaly as bewildering as his colleague. There was simply no rational way to explain it. Number 7. Farting led to jail time. 41-year-old Matthew Hapgood from Oxfordshire was sentenced to an extraordinary 34 months in jail for an incident that began with a seemingly innocuous act, a fart. The bizarre situation unfolded during his arrest for shoplifting goods valued at approximately £33 in March 2022. When confronted by the police, instead of complying quietly, Hapgood released a loud fart directly into a police officer's face. This not only made headlines, but also sealed his fate in the criminal justice system. Hapgood's history with law enforcement was extensive and troubling. He had amassed an alarming record of 31 prior convictions encompassing a total of 83 offenses. These included various crimes ranging from petty theft to more serious infractions. Hapgood's flatulent rebellion during his arrest was viewed by the authorities as the final straw in a long history of disruptive behavior. The sentencing sparked a wide array of reactions from the public. Some found the situation absurdly comical, while others expressed concern over the seriousness of the punishment for what many considered a trivial offense. So, what is your position on the matter? Well, whatever it is, be prepared to be shocked by this next one. Number 6. The ghost car. The case of the elusive ghost car began during a routine patrol when a police officer spotted a white car recklessly weaving through traffic. The officer, sensing the need to intervene, engaged in a high-speed pursuit. The chase escalated as the driver of the white car executed a sudden 180-degree turn, and to the officer's shock, there was no one in the driver's seat. Despite the apparent danger and confusion, the pursuit continued. Things took a bizarre turn when the car veered off the road, crashing through a chain-link fence that marked the boundary of a nearby field. However, just as the officer prepared to follow, the white car vanished into thin air. Theories began to circulate quickly among the local community and online forums. It was widely suggested that the car might have been an apparition from a ghostly realm. Despite various investigations and theories, law enforcement has been unable to provide a concrete explanation for the car's sudden disappearance. Number 5. Firearm inside a computer. In a startling incident that unfolded in 2016 at Houston Airport, the routine operations of the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, took an unexpected and alarming turn. As officers conducted their standard baggage checks, an X-ray machine emitted a distinctive beep, signaling something unusual had been detected. When the agents examined the screen, they found a loaded firearm, meticulously concealed within a computer case. The gun was not merely tucked away, it was tightly wrapped in duct tape and then covered in a layer of modeling clay. However, the TSA agents were not fooled and alerted law enforcement, and the police promptly arrived on the scene. The passenger was detained, and a comprehensive investigation into the incident was initiated. This individual faced serious repercussions, including criminal charges and hefty fines. Number 4. Bear parts. In December 2015, a chilling discovery in Russia unveiled the harrowing realities of illegal wildlife trafficking. Officers conducting routine inspections aboard railway cars stumbled upon 37 unmarked sacks that, at first glance, seemed innocuous. However, upon closer examination, the officers found hundreds of severed bear parts meticulously packed and ready for distribution. Among the gruesome inventory were 527 bear feet, several bear muzzles, numerous bear gallbladders, and even 3 musk deer glands. These body parts were destined for the thriving black market in Asia, where they would be sought after for traditional medicine. This grim seizure highlighted a troubling trend in wildlife crime, particularly the alarming increase in bear poaching driven by cultural beliefs in the supposed medicinal properties of animal parts. In many Asian cultures, items such as bear gallbladders and ivory tusks are erroneously thought to possess the ability to cure serious ailments, including cancer. Such misguided beliefs perpetuate a lucrative underground market that fuels the demand for these illicit products, leading to an escalation in poaching and the endangerment of species. Number 3. Oil thieves. In a bizarre twist to what should have been a leisurely getaway, a group of 8 thieves turned a hotel in South Korea into the headquarters for an audacious oil heist in 2023. Led by a former employee of the Korea National Oil Corporation, this crew rented an entire hotel in the city of Cheongju, North Chungcheong Province, and successfully convinced the owner that they were legitimate buyers interested in purchasing the property. With the hotel effectively shut down, they started digging a tunnel leading to a nearby oil pipeline. They avoided the use of heavy machinery that would create noise and potentially alert authorities. Instead, armed only with shovels and pickaxes, they painstakingly chipped away at the earth, inch by inch, carefully ensuring their operation remained covert. After weeks of labor, they managed to carve out an impressive 33-foot-long tunnel. They were tantalizingly close to their target, just a mere foot away from striking oil and executing their grand plan. However, just as victory seemed within reach, fate intervened. The National Intelligence Service became aware of their nefarious scheme and promptly tipped off local law enforcement. The police swarmed the hotel just as the gang prepared to make their final move. Officers caught the would-be oil thieves red-handed, still covered in dirt from their extensive digging. Number 2. Suitcase filled with gold and cash. In the small Italian town of Scandicci in 2017, during a routine bus check, authorities stumbled upon a suitcase that would reveal an astonishing trove of 89 gold bars and a staggering $134,000 in cash. The fortunate serendipity of this find was largely attributed to Elio, a highly trained police dog whose keen sense of smell led officers to the unsuspecting suitcase belonging to a 58-year-old man who claimed to be a goldsmith. According to the man, he was merely transporting his legally acquired gold and cash from Switzerland to Italy. However, when pressed for documentation to substantiate his claims regarding the origins and intended destination of this substantial wealth, he faltered. The absence of verifiable proof immediately raised red flags for the officers involved, prompting them to seize the suitcase and launch an investigation. Investigation revealed that the man had a criminal record riddled with charges of fraud and forgery. Number 1. Secret tunnel. In early 2014, after years of pursuit, authorities had closed in on a hidden safe house where notorious drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was suspected to be hiding. As agents stormed the house, El Chapo dashed to his bathroom, where a hidden entrance lay beneath an ordinary-looking bathtub. This bathtub cover slid aside to reveal an opening leading into an elaborate labyrinthine network of underground tunnels. This intricate system stretched all the way to the city of Mazatlan. Having narrowly evaded capture, Guzman surfaced in this coastal city. He settled briefly in a modest condominium, hoping to blend in until the heat from the raid subsided. However, the authorities were not so easily shaken off. They meticulously tracked his movements, piecing together his escape route and predicting his next steps with unprecedented precision. On February 22, 2014, Mexican Marines and DEA agents stormed his Mazatlan condo in a decisive raid, catching El Chapo off guard. This was the beginning of the end for one of the world's most infamous criminal empires. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on our new uploads. Also, don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's truly unbelievable.